Tenant is building up the team. If you know how to keep a job site safe, productive, and moving, we want to hear from you. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
At Papa John's, we know it's not just a pizza. It's a family gathering, a happy birthday, a special celebration, or just a sigh of relief at the end of a busy day. For a limited time, get large one-topping pizzas for only $14.99 each on original, thin, or New York-style crust. Use promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Feeling overwhelmed by debt? Concerned about what the next few weeks or months will bring for your finances? My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. You don't have to navigate this alone. Together, we can review your options and build a personalized plan to reduce your payments and get you out of debt, so you can breathe again. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown Friday edition. Today's show, Elks tomorrow night in Montreal, Saskatchewan playing tonight. And how about those BC Lions? Vibe text on the Lions. Are they real? We'll find out. Oilers getting closer to camp. PTOs? I don't think so, but we'll talk about it. Jays? Well, Jays. And sail on hockey night in Canada. Lowdown with Lowetide brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick on Sports 1440 and YouTube. Wolf GMC Buick, family-owned, community-driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. Our headliner of the day, Steve Lansky, who's going to talk about the non-renewal of the Kelly Rudy contract for Hockey Night in Canada. What does that mean for the rest of them? Are we have a new look? What would Steve do? I know he's itching to tell us, and that'll come up on the show today. We're live on sports1440.ca, Radio Player Canada, and iHeartRadio. After the show, we're put out on Apple and Spotify podcast, and we tweet it out on X too. We're on Twitter at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, and at Donovan Paulson. And you can text us at 833-401-1440 anytime, 833-401-1440. Very busy show, going to be a topical show. There's some things happening right now in the world of sports that we will get to. So stay tuned. You may not have heard about them. We'll have them for you in the first segment and throughout the show. It's time for the introductions. He has done more in a month for this station than most of the people earning money here have done in a year. Thank God Gregor was on holidays. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Connor Spivak. Connor Spivak, everybody. He's so busy, he leaves the room as I introduce him. How bad and good is that? Man, I don't know. Does Gregor even know he's here? Let's hope not. He brings a completely different audience to the show. People who would not tune in unless he was here. It's like Sexy Red joining Luke Combs. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Donovan Paulson. Donovan Paulson, everybody.
Sexy Red joining Luke Combs.
Yeah.
That is... Do you even know what a Sexy Red is?
I know that she's somebody who does something with regard to rap. And I thought that would irritate you along with Luke Combs. And that's what I was aiming for.
Well, you're right. I don't like Sexy Red, and I particularly hate Luke Combs.
Well, that's perfect. Then my work is done here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You may as well just go out the door, wrap it up. Me and Deck have got it from here.
There you go. He is the serious one on the show, and he doesn't approve of the Lowetide tangents. His roll eyes per 60 leads the league, and he's been known to say things like, this segment has now rolled all the way down the hill, but we love him anyway, and he keeps us honest. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger, everybody.
I, too, that has to be from your daughter, the Sexy Red reference.
It was actually from Mackenzie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That tracks better.
I said I needed to irritate Donovan, and she gave it her best shot.
Now, Sexy Red, she's like if you mixed Cardi B with like a garbage can. I would say that.
Great.
I would say that's like sexy.
Well,
I don't hate it, but I'm just like, that's it for anyone who's wondering, hey, who's Sexy Red? Think of that.
Think of the least sexy vocals you could ever think of.
There you go.
That's basically Sexy
I
Red.
would think Luke Combs if I was thinking of that. So here we go. BC Lions, Declan, are they like, we're going to talk about the Elks. They play tomorrow night. Saskatchewan Roughriders are likely going to win against Ottawa, even with all of their injuries. But how do we feel about the BC Lions? Are they coming off the mat now, or?
Maybe like this game, I expect them to win, but this game is sneaky, I think, a really big spot for them because you're facing like a fourth string quarterback in Harrison Frost for the Ticats. Their record is a touch better than yours, but it's not impressive. And a lot of that stemmed from what Bo Levi did early in the season. You're 2-5 right now. To keep pace for that third spot in the West, like Calgary just had the loss last night.
Right.
Winnipeg's looked old and slow. You can be right there. Granted, like Nathan Rourke in his absence and his return, that plays a huge part in things.
Right.
So they have a chance to, but this is, I think, and they're a huge favorite in this one. I think this is a sneaky big game for the BC Lions to gauge where they're at in the West.
If they win this week and next week, then we can talk about them as being real. Is that fair?
I mean, that only puts them at 4-5. The wins would be against two teams with sub 500 records. I would need to see the Saskatchewan game 3 weeks from now. They don't have to win that, but there needs to be a level of competency in that one before I can say like this is a feasible threat.
My concern every year is that the West becomes like the CFL East, where there's one or two good teams and then two teams that are just on the outer edge of entertainment, and that's Ottawa right now.
Yeah, is it ever?
Man.
Well, hey, with all of Saskatchewan's injuries, maybe this is the trap spot.
You say that, but I don't believe a word of that.
No,
sir.
That's fair. Ottawa is very bad, and Saskatchewan's pretty good. So.
Yeah. All right. Whenever we have Donovan here, I am absolutely tempted to just say Jays and then, turn off the microphone and listen for the next 6 minutes. Jays.
Okay. Well, Jose Soriano going to get the first start as a J today, which I'm very intrigued to see. Obviously, it's not enough time to have him get accustomed to this Jays pitching development team and Pete Walker, but I fully expect Jose Soriano to...
He'll have a better defense behind him.
Yeah, well, he'll have a better defense. I don't know if you saw the framing metrics from the Angels to the Jays, but the Angels were 28th.
Yeah, O'Hoppe was awful.
O'Hoppe couldn't frame...
Darno's not great either.
I mean... Like he couldn't receive a beach ball from someone just lobbing it to him. So O'Hoppe's metrics were like 28th, and the Jays are I think 4th best in baseball in terms of framing. So he's going to gain strikes based on that. He's going to gain better defense. He's going to gain a lot actually, and that's not even counting for Pete Walker, who seems to really, really covet and develop these guys like Dylan Cease, like Robbie Ray. I would put him in somewhat similar category, except with Jose Soriano, I think he has a little extra development compared to those guys because they need to develop a third pitch. I don't think Jose Soriano necessarily needs to develop a third pitch.
What I like about what they're doing with the Jays, and Cease would be an example, and you said Robbie Ray, Cease would be Robbie Ray 2.0 before it happened, and damned if you weren't right. But there are teams like the Chicago Cubs. They go after a particular kind of bland pitcher because they've got a great defense and they want the ground balls, and they're understandable, but they're not terribly exciting. What I like about the Jays pitchers, Cease has always had great stuff, but he walked the world before he struck the rest of the world out. And it's not like they have him perfectly tuned in, but he's been a White Sox and a Padre and now a Jay, and he's closer to being peak Cease than I've ever seen.
I think this is probably 90%.
Right. Yeah, I think that's fair. And like in terms of if you're looking at a pitching staff, the best pitching staff in baseball would be one of Dodgers, maybe Brewers, maybe Philadelphia. Is that fair?
Well, it's the Dodgers by landslide. I wouldn't put Philly or Milwaukee particularly close. The teams that I would have hanging around the outside, if you would ask me coming into the year, I would have said the Seattle Mariners. Some guys have had terrible seasons in Seattle or not very good. Some guys have had great. The other team that I would throw in there, I would say is maybe the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now that's a bit more of a development type of pitching staff. Like I assume Bubba Chandler's going to be great. He hasn't been. He's had his moments.
Skeens has also been a little bit off.
Skeens has been a little off this year, but I think Jared Jones is awesome. I think obviously Paul Skeens is one of the 2 or 3 best pitchers in baseball. So yeah, I would throw those would be my top 3. But the Dodgers by a landslide. Like, come on, their worst starting pitcher is Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah, they're really good, but like where would Yamamoto if they start the playoffs? You're starting with Skubal, right?
Yeah, you're probably going Skubal, Yamamoto. We'll see what happens with the Ohtani stuff, but Ohtani would probably be number 3. Blake Snell, 2-time Cy Young winner, is probably 4.
I don't know. I think if Snell's pitching well, I think he might get the 3rd start.
He might, but the fact that we're having the conversation of who do you start, Shohei Ohtani or Blake Snell?
Yeah,
that tells you all you need to know. And then you're going to have Tyler Glasnow coming out of the bullpen, which is just ridiculous. And then you look at the rest of their potential 10-man rotation.
They could get 3 injuries and still win the World Series.
They could get 7 injuries and still win the World Series.
Noah Philp is retired from professional hockey. He had signed in Sweden HV71 in the Swedish Elite Hockey League. And he just said, you know what, my motivation for hockey is not fully there. He had retired, a member of the Edmonton Oilers organization, and missed an entire year. In talking to certainly people who evaluate hockey players, Philp is a guy that the Oilers really believed in. I'm convinced of that. And he was an impact player in the AHL. And it's too bad that his career turned out this way for reasons that we're not going to get into. But I love his integrity about, he's not going to go over there and not be completely committed to it. And so we wish him the best, and we hope that that he has a wonderful post-hockey playing career, and we'll be interested in following him and seeing if he, ends up doing something hockey related. Any fallout for you guys from the Ville Koivunen 8-year extension? Is that something that we were shocked about it, and now we just don't care because it's not, it's not like he's a number 1 center or anything.
Yeah, sorry, Donovan just had to leave the room for all the listeners. The keyboard here stopped working behind the board.
Yeah, well, I will say,
so we're going to get some engineering.
Your statement was correct. Donovan had to leave the room for all of the listeners. They just all requested it at one time.
No, back to the Koivunen extension. Though, like we touched about it a little bit yesterday. What would have been wrong with 4 years for a player of that caliber who's played 47 games? Like, that is a lot of blind faith in a player who, quite frankly, in my opinion, doesn't have that high of a ceiling.
Yeah.
I understand the organization wanting to tie up pieces that they feel like can fill a role and be, cornerstones, even though I think cornerstone might be a bit generous of a phrase. But 8 year, like what would have been wrong with 4 or 5?
Well,
why 8?
3 would have been I just don't think he's a guy you have to sign that long unless you are absolutely in the firm belief that you're getting a bargain after the 2nd year. You're giving him a little bit of money at the beginning, and then it's going to be highway robbery for the rest of the time. But he'll end up resenting it, and you'll have to pay through the nose at the end of that contract. So it's interesting, and I'm really wondering if this sets the tone moving forward for young guys that are perceived as being good enough to play in the middle 6, say, and they just want to cost and control them. Maybe that's going to work. Lowetide, Declan, and Connor, am I underestimating the EE? Last time they played Montreal, they got a huge break on a call and won in overtime in a storm. I'm hesitant to believe they are the top team. I believe the top 3 in the CFL. Truly looking to your take on the team. Where are you? Put them out of the top 9. Jay and Victoria. Well, I'll go first because the expert on the show is Declan. He can go second. for me, I kept waiting for Cinderella midnight for the Elks. At the beginning of the year, I was like, okay, they're good, but how good and how far can they go? Well, that's done. Now, best in the league, they played Saskatchewan straight up, one on the road, lost at home, both close. Now Montreal. I'd say they're 2 and maybe 3. Is that about right?
Well, do you want my full take on the thing?
Yes, please.
I still have them number 1. And first of all, there's an unbelievably clear top 3. It's them, Saskatchewan, and Montreal. My thing is they're 2-1 against Saskatchewan and Montreal. I know it was a close game in Saskatchewan. It was also a close game when Saskatchewan beat them. They were conceivably a Malik Carney penalty away from getting the ball back with a chance to win the game. Now, I will say, any order you want to have for those teams, 1 to 3, I'm going to hear the argument. I think there's a lot of arguments both ways. Saskatchewan, they obviously just beat Edmonton. Montreal has the best record. Edmonton, like I said, 2-1 against them. But I think this game for Edmonton will be a true litmus test where they stand against the top 3 in the CFL.
So, from our text, it sounds like there are some out there, if we can extrapolate 1 into thousands, that there maybe the Montreal victory was a little fluky and there were elements and situations that impacted the final score. But I would suggest that both of the Saskatchewan games were close enough that the Elks could have won or lost. So since they are the upstart, I'm not going to push back on your number 1 because you know way more about it than I do. But I feel like it would be reasonable to say Rough Riders are the Grey Cup victors. They probably are 1 or 2. Montreal, I would say 1 or 2. And I think maybe the Elks, until they prove they're demonstrably better than the other 2, I think you'd have to say that they're 3rd.
Yeah, and I'll hear that argument all day. I think it has a lot of credence. I think there are a lot of good arguments you can make in that case. What I keep coming back to is the results on the field. And Edmonton is 2-1 against those teams, right? So I just have to roll with that. Like I said, this game is going to prove a lot for Edmonton and for Montreal, but it can be ordered anyway. I still have Edmonton number 1.
Chomsker says Pittsburgh's beat writer says Koivunen's won't make the roster, and this contract protects him from waivers. Okay, I see, because nobody will take him. That makes it worse to me, LOL. I don't think you would have to do that to be that drastic. If he's not good enough to make the team, the Oilers sign guys, like there's guys in the AHL the Oilers may have to move through waivers, right? And their AHL deal, like Josh Brown makes $1.2 million in the NHL, and he makes $1.2 million in the AHL. And the reason they did that was they didn't want to lose him to waivers. NHL teams are not going to pick up a guy that they've got to pay $1.2 million if he's in the minors. That's not how the organizations or the business plan or the business model works. So you're right. This will avoid that, but I can't believe they would sign this contract with the assumption that he's not going to make the team. That would be even bigger news. I think that's a little out there and outrageous. We talked yesterday about Hockey Night in Canada and moving on from Kelly Rudy. And today at 1:00, Steve Lansky's going to join us. And I'm going to ask him about that. Like, why just Kelly Rudy, or is there another shoe to drop? And it seems to me we watched for over a decade the same kind of show. And I'm all about, changing it because I think that's important. I talked about what my preference would be. We'll talk to Steve today. But if it is just Rudy, I'm just interested in, why it would be just him. It seems to me that when you're too long at the fair and management says it's stagnant, then it might be just more than one person. So we'll see how it goes and how things move forward. But that's an interesting situation. Now, coming up at 12:40 today, it's Declinations. We do Declinations at 12:40 every Friday. And I know you have a great subject today.
Yeah, we're going to be having some fun with this. Not sports related, but Donovan and I are going to be giving the top 5 of life's small embarrassments.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, for Donovan, that'll be, are you going to mention the clergy and the things that you've said for the Swifties to get mad? Are you going to go that way?
You're just saying Donovan buzzwords. None of those would even make sense for this topic.
Oh, no.
None of those would.
Are you kidding? You've called out the clergy on this show.
That doesn't make sense for this topic.
Yeah, it
Sure
doesn't
it
make
does.
sense for the topic. Why would I be embarrassed about
Because
calling them out?
somebody in the clergy no doubt will contact you and embarrass you.
If you want one that would be embarrassing, small embarrassing moments, saying that the Carolina Hurricanes under this core would never win the Stanley Cup,
Yeah, I don't like
that
to
would
bring up.
apply.
I don't like to bring that up. That's because you could do that to me every day, right? So those kinds of claims are not that big a deal, right? So I look forward to it. So we're talking about things that happen in everyday life, like
Yeah,
things
like
you might say that are a little bit of a trip up.
calling someone by the wrong name. That didn't make my list, but that could be something that's an example.
So is that calling me out for calling you Donovan too often?
No, but yeah, you should
Yeah.
be embarrassed. That does apply.
If you guys could have different like first names that weren't somewhat similar, Declan Donovan. Like if one of you was Artie, I'd be fine. If he could just be Artie, it'd be all good. All right, we have Lansky at 1. We have Declination straight ahead, and we also have next rumors. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
Are you a skilled laborer? All Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with trackhoe or backhoe experience, All Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with trackhoe or backhoe experience searching for work, search All Star Construction on Indeed.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Founded by a former pro motorsports competitor, Evolve Wheels and Tires brings decades of experience in custom wheels, lowering kits, lift kits, and accessories. Visit Evolve Wheels and Tires in West Edmonton, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride. Evolve your experience. Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant in the Silent Ice Center, just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails in a stylish, modern atmosphere. Perfect for a casual meal or a special night out. Summit offers a refined experience where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Make Summit Restaurant your destination tonight.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Take the pain out of airport parking with Park to Go. Your first-class parking experience. Book self-serve and valet parking and save up to 30%. Book now with promo code RADIO. That's RADIO.
Alberta, this one's for you.
Around here, trust takes a few winters. It's why players have known Jackpot City since 1998. Home to hundreds of exciting casino games, live dealer action, and new adventures waiting to be discovered. Jackpot City. Nothing beats the original. Please play responsibly. 18 years or older. Alberta only.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. Then a volunteer gave me a medal. But I don't want participation trophies, unless they're from Bet365. With their daily prize matcher game, I win by matching gold coins, cherries, and more. Take that, denim man. Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
Ready to upgrade your ride this spring? Come on down to the Golf Cart People. They're a family-owned and operated business that's been serving the community since '97. Whether you're looking for a brand new or quality pre-owned cart, a rental for a special event, they do that too. The Golf Cart People have a huge selection of parts and accessories, and their expert service team is here to keep you rolling. The Golf Cart People, your one-stop shop for everything golf cart. Visit golfcartpeople.com.
He knows all about the Expos and Oilers. It's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 at 1224. It's time for, we're brought to you, by the way, by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out at wolfgmcbuick.com. Beautiful Friday. I think we finally got it down. There's no monsoons. There's no 33 degrees. There are leaves turning. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but, when you're going for a walk, say in the River Valley, If you know, you know. It's time for Rumors, brought to you by Hire Good. We solve real problems for businesses while creating real impact. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces clean, and take pressure off your team. Go to hiregood.ca. Hire Good. Stable jobs create stable lives. So we talked about Noah Philp and his announcing his retirement. He had signed with HV71, played in the National Hockey League with the Edmonton Oilers, was chosen, picked up on waivers by the Carolina Hurricanes, played a little bit there, and then played for their minor league team. And obviously signed in the summertime earlier to play in Sweden in the Swedish Hockey League. And it's a very good league. It's either the first or second best league in Europe. And then he said, you know what, my motivation for hockey is not fully there. There was a release, and now he's done playing in the organized hockey, as far as we know. He did retire previously for 1 year, while an Edmonton Oilers prospect. So, but his career, on the day that we're saying goodbye to him, is everybody okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. On the year we say goodbye to him, the day we say goodbye to him as a hockey player, it's worth noting that, he was an outstanding AHL player. And when he came up to the National Hockey League, he did well. Right-handed center with size. That kind of player has all kinds of opportunities. And he did. And I mean, he didn't, didn't have a long career. But there are reasons why things occurred. And the amount of time and effort. He was a U of A Golden Bear. I remember Bob mentioning him on his show many times as a guy who was worthy of an opportunity, a la Derek Ryan, who came the same way and ended up being an effective righty center for a long time in the NHL. So sometimes in life, you draft a player, you sign a player, and you're like, man, this guy just wasn't close. Noah Philp was a really good player who played in the National Hockey League. And, you never say never, but I think that's a guy that could have helped the team and did a couple of times. And it's kind of a sad day for me, just because I always cheer for these guys. I still cheer for Mark Pouliot, for crying out loud. And I've always felt like in the National Hockey League, the last 100 players and the first 150 players in the AHL are all basically interchangeable. And so, maybe some team wants size, another team wants speed. Maybe the, goalie got hot and he elevated to the NHL and he's still there. But there's a lot of luck that gets involved. And I think that luck, good and bad, has Philp where he is today. And we wish him the best of luck. I wrote about at The Athletic today about Jake Wallman and the entire defensive group, specifically the left side, because based on what the coaching staff has said very briefly, and based on what we know of Jake Wallman, when he played mostly third pairing last year, he did play against elites, but nowhere near the totals of Darnell Nurse or Matthias Ekholm. That second pairing left side could be open to, a lot of different things. They might end up playing, it's possible that Ekholm plays with Murphy and Wallman or Ryan Shea play with Evan Bouchard. Not saying that's going to happen, but it could. And Ty Emberson has some NHL experience now. Maybe we'll see him move up a little bit, although I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. It could. The reasons why these things might be more prevalent this year than last year is because we've had a coaching change. And when you change coaches, there's always a new pair of eyes, and maybe they don't evaluate in the same way the previous coaches did. And it's difficult, especially for young players who come in and, the general manager trades for them. The coach gets familiar with them. I'll use Ike Howard as an example, but there are others. Tyler Benson is a great example because he came in to pro hockey at 2018. And at that time, Todd McClellan was the coach, and they were worried about him staying healthy. And so they sent him to the AHL, and he had the best year by a 20-year-old Oilers prospect forward in the AHL in at least a quarter century. He was just absolutely outstanding for the Bakersfield Condors. He got like 7 games, not a lot, in the NHL. And then that, 2018-19, they ended up going to Ken Hitchcock, and Keith Gretzky became the interim general manager. Ken Holland arrives in the April of the following year, and he hires new coach and in Dave Tippett. And all of those things impact young players. So when we're talking about a guy like Josh Szymanski or Ike Howard, those cats did their best to impress Coach Chris Knobloch a year ago. And now it's like a reset. Sometimes that's good. In a way, that's really good. There are guys on this roster, say Quinn Hudson, who has a two-way ability based on his college career and how well he played in the AHL. I think Ike Howard improved a lot, but now it's a reset, right? It is brand new. And so when we go into this training camp, whether we're talking left defense or one of the young players, it's good to remind ourselves that most NHL coaches prefer to have experience in prominent places. What would that look like? Well, maybe you see Szymanski in the AHL, and maybe you see Matthias Janmark playing center on the fourth line. I know many of you are going to say, what are you talking about, Lowetide? Well, Janmark is signed, and he's a veteran, and he can kill penalties. So right away, Mike Babcock might appreciate that skill set over a player who has, 24 games NHL experience. And that could happen throughout there. It could happen to Ike Howard. Maybe Matt Savoy doesn't play on the top line. And Mike Babcock and his coaching staff will figure out what their team is going to look like. But I think it's fair to say and important to say that just because Chris Knobloch ran the lines and the pairings last year in a certain way doesn't mean that's going to happen with Mike Babcock and his coaching staff. Doesn't mean that Tristan Jarry is going to be the starter. And they may split up the top pairing of Ekholm and Bouchard. And they may, as they've said, play McDavid and Draisaitl together. And maybe they have a workaround. Maybe Nugent Hopkins with Zach Hyman and Vasily Podkolzin is a damn good second line. I don't think it is. I think Nuge is not a second line center anymore. That's my belief. But I think Mike Babcock is going to have to discover that for himself or prove people like me wrong. That's what I think the preseason and the early part of the regular season is going to be about. And there are going to be players, and in the article I talked about Jake Wallman, but also Ryan Shea and Shakir Mekamadoulan and really Spencer Stastny. There's a large number of possible outcomes for some of those players, specifically Stastny, who could end up going all over the place. What did you do to the keyboard?
I actually didn't do anything.
Yeah. You broke it, didn't you?
Well, I smashed it over my knee.
Right.
And then I sabotaged Declan.
Yeah. You're mad about the Blue Jays. Right?
Yeah, I was mad about the Blue Jays and this sexy red Luke Combs comparison. And so I smashed the keyboard over my knee while Declan wasn't looking. And what's happened now is the keyboard's totally dead. And so we're scrambling on the back end to try and fix this keyboard here, because obviously without that, it's not like the show can't happen, but things get substantially harder for Deck back here. So
well, and we don't, but like Declan is the one guy, who the reason he's sometimes moody is that there's a lot of pressure on him. He's got a lot he's got to do, right? And so we don't want to we love that he's here to do it all because I don't know what the hell he's doing, but we need to give him the equipment that works properly. So are you okay now, sir?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, for sure. Donovan outlined it great. Like that, nothing here is going to make the show impossible to run today.
Okay.
Just, it's a hindrance, but whatever.
So are you going to slap anybody's phone out of their hand? Or is that just for Josh?
If Josh was here, I'd do it. Everyone else is safe.
He's in Penticton, right?
Yeah.
And
I think Dak has too much respect for me to do that.
No, I just think there's a fear factor.
I'd hit
you
anybody.
know. We don't know. You have a loose cannon thing about you. That, and we know how you treat the texters. So we're not. Kevin Love's agent has been in contact with the 76ers. Do we know this? I'm just reading a headline, and where are we going with that 76ers team, boys?
Well, I think they're the second favorite in the East right now. I think they could get out of the conference, but I think they have a lot of things they kind of need to put together, if you will. And there's just a lot of things that need to be seen on the court for what that team chemistry
But they're going to be
like.
old in a hurry. By fall, they're going to be really old now.
I mean, Jaylen Brown's not that old. He's a little older. He's been in the league for a minute, but Tyrese Maxey's not old. VJ Edgecomb's not old.
Kevin Love?
Oh, yeah. Kevin Love wouldn't play. He would be a vet presence, like come hang out on the bench, up by 20, down by 20. Yeah.
All right. You've
and Joel Embiid's knees are 1,000. I wanted to get that into.
You guys hurt me with this. This is like the Hurts thing all over again, except NBA version.
We haven't really touched on this at all on the station today. No. However, if there's one person that should have their agent be in contact with them today, it is Evander Kane.
Jeez, I am telling you. I wasn't going to bring it up, but
you mentioned Kevin Love's the agent thing. And if there's one person that should have his agent be in contact with him today, it is Evander Kane. I'm not going to bring up more than that. However, if you have Twitter, it's quite funny.
Yeah.
And you probably know by now. However,
do you think does he get a PTO?
No, I don't think so. He's sure not helping himself today with this one. I'll put it that way.
Well, it's
I think his career's over.
Yeah, I mean you see, when he came here, people will forget, but when he came here, he was a first shot scorer. He could score from range, and he was putting the puck in the net, man. He'd come in over the blue line, he'd get a pass, and he could beat a goalie clean from distance. Hard to do in the NHL. But then he had that injury. Remember the maroon cut, and he was never the same. And then power forwards hit a wall. They just do. We saw it with Milan Lucic, and we certainly saw it with Evander Kane. And then you can bring those guys back. I remember the first guy I ever remember having this happen to was a guy named Al Secord, who played for the Bruins and the Blackhawks. And Al Secord was scoring 30 goals, 40 goals, 30 goals. And then all of a sudden it was like 5. And when that wall hits, it hits. And, I don't have Evander Kane's numbers in front of me. But he played his career in the NHL very aggressively and extremely physical. And there's a lot of miles there, even when you're like 32. And I think that all of the verbal that has come out of it may well just be, the frustration with not getting an opportunity. And when an opportunity presents itself, maybe not being able to do the things you could do a few years ago, which I would be irritated to anybody. But those power forwards, man, remember Lucic? He played for Boston all those years, went to LA for 1 year, and then he came here, and he'd never been a big power play guy. He always was an even strength guy, lots of assists, and the even strength assists and the even strength goals went into an elevator shaft, and he doubled his power play points because they were putting him on the power play. But it was really tough watching Milan Lucic as an Oiler after enjoying him so much as a Boston Bruin.
If you want to know what Kane's numbers were, he had 13 goals and 31 points, and he was a -20, which, granted, you're on a terrible Vancouver team. However, to me, on an actual competitive team, he's not a good enough defensive player to warrant a bottom 6 role. So therefore, I just think he's a pointless player and has absolutely no purpose. This isn't like a personal thing. This is just a genuine
Well, I don't know that he could play on an NHL team effectively based on where he is. He was a great player, but that is then and this is now.
He's not good enough to be a top 6 forward anymore. And to me, if you're going to be a third or fourth line guy, you have to be responsible enough defensively to, warrant a spot in the lineup. Otherwise, look at the Oilers, right? The bottom 6 guys, if they don't play on the PK or aren't good defensively, they don't play. And so Evander Kane, who's a pretty poor defensive player, where's he going to play?
Yeah. Christie says, why is it okay for Speck to talk smack and Kane can't clap back? Kane's initial point is 100% valid, whether you guys agree with it or not. Well, first of all, Christie, everybody's over 18. So, it plays out in the public eye. It's titillating. People like that sort of thing. But people represent what their beliefs are. And then, they're assuming somebody's going to, react to it. And that's what happened. And on we go. So there's nothing for us to say yay or nay about what Evander Kane said. It's up to each individual to assess that and move along. And Speck took the opportunity to say something. Kane clapped back. I think that's all, that's all fine. I don't think Speck would have an issue with it. And I suspect Kane wouldn't either. It's the world turning as it should. I know that people like to chime in and make claims and further their viewpoints on things. On this show, we're not going to discuss it. We are going to say that it made for interesting times this morning on X. Speaking of interesting time on declinations on the way next. And what have we got? The top 5 small embarrassing things in life?
Yeah, top 5 embarrassing moments, small embarrassing moments.
Right. So not big ones like not
like getting left at the altar on your wedding day. That'd be a big one.
Or you invite the manager and you invite the staff out for lunch and then you forget your wallet. That would be embarrassing.
Sounds like an Office plot line.
There you go. It's all on the way. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. They're going all out to earn your business at Wolf GMC Buick. Right now, they're seriously overstocked on over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. See for yourself. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. And it gets even better. Employee pricing continues with huge cash discounts, 0% purchase financing, and low lease rates on select vehicles. Once again, see their website for details or stop in today. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Krueger for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Think a quality golf cart is out of your budget? Think again. At the Golf Cart People, we have a fantastic selection of fully inspected, pre-owned carts starting at just $4,500. Choose from gas, electric, or lithium-ion power to fit your lifestyle. And the best part, every used cart comes with a 1-year warranty for total peace of mind. Why wait? Get the cart you've always wanted today. Visit the Golf Cart People. Find out more at golfcartpeople.com.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. wolfgmcbuick.com.
$14.40, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick, overstocked and making room with a massive summer clearance plus. Employee pricing continues. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. It's 12:43, lovely Friday. Jason Krueger on the radio, back from holidays. He was back yesterday, gearing up for today. Going to be a big show starting at 2 o'clock right here. It is time for Declinations. Brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. Kick off the second half of the season with a 5-game ticket pack and get a $25 voucher. Get your half season pass today at goelks.com/tickets. Edmonton Elks, our city, our year. And now, with world's most embarrassing moments, ladies and gentlemen, Declan Krueger.
Yeah, and Donovan Paulson, our top 5 of small embarrassing moments. So I figured, Donovan, I don't know where you come in on this one. I figured we'd go back and forth, like 5-5, 4-4.
Sure.
Do you want to start this one off, or do you want me to?
You fire away. It's your
All
segment.
right. My number 5 on the list of life's small embarrassing moments. When you're in an argument, I actually kind of just did it. When you're in an argument and you start stuttering.
Oh.
Gives them unlimited ammo. They start teeing off on you. Your confidence goes down the drain. You feel like the point you're making doesn't matter anymore. So number 5, when you're in an argument and you start stuttering.
Yeah, you know what? I don't stutter, but I've had a moment where I'm unsure where to go, and you have that moment, right?
I've gotten more stuttery lately, I found.
Well, it's because you're a rapido talker.
I think it's the punches to the head, but I'll take that.
I wasn't going to say anything.
My number 5, I'm going with the classic waving at the wrong person.
It's goated. It's a goated choice.
It's a crazy one. We've all done it at some point. You think someone's waving at you, and then you wave back. It can be someone you know, someone you don't know, and then you have that awkward moment of, oh crap, they're waving at someone behind me. Yeah. And then you kind of put your face over your mouth, and you just go, oh God.
Moment I'd like to get out of now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 4 for me, I have messing up a dap. And specifically when the guy you're dapping up is like a couple scales cooler than you, and you're like, I really got to show up for this one, and you mess it up, and he just kind of looks at you like, you're not what I thought you were.
May I ask what a dap is?
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
It's like a handshake.
Oh, but it's
like
a funky handshake.
Well, it's specific. I would say it's like a grab and clasp of the hands.
Okay, so you're opening a lever. Okay,
sort of. Yes, yeah. That's a decent way to describe it for our older listeners,
and those who can't see,
and those who can't see, and people of Tide's vintage here. My number 4 is I'm gonna go the classic getting caught singing in traffic.
That's a good one.
That's a great one.
We've all, again, I think we can all relate to this one. Just firing away. You got whatever your favorite song is, blaring away. You're singing your lungs out, and then all of a sudden, Mr. Timmy comes up alongside you and just stares at you. You look over and you go, uh-oh.
That is such a good one, because your stomach really does drop. I feel like you just got caught like naked or something.
My favorite one to sing is No Woman, No Cry by Marley. And it's a slow song, but you can belt out the chorus. And you're right. I've been embarrassed by that at the light many times. My
number 3, I have tripping up the stairs. Like probably in public would be the best moment when it's embarrassing. But any kind of little trip in public is just, you feel like you have 1,000 eyes on you. You think everyone's watching. You're worried about can I walk after this? You're like, can I still take steps here?
Not sure of myself anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. I got tripping up the stairs on my number 3.
My number 3, again, something we can all relate to. Not recognizing someone from your past when they come up to say hi.
And not knowing their name.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
Because you don't remember, and they go, in my case, they go, oh, hey, Donovan. And you go, oh, hey, man. How's it going?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Pal. Hey, pal. Hey, sport. And you kind of just have that awkward, oh, you don't remember who I am, do you?
Yeah.
And you go, sorry. No, not really. That one I hate. That one.
It cuts.
It cuts deep. Yeah.
That's a really good one. My number 2 is making a joke in front of a new group of people, like maybe your friend's friends or your girlfriend's friends, and no one laughs. It's like you're trying to, right? You're trying to let everyone know, hey, I'm cool, I'm funny, and they don't get it, and you are fighting the biggest uphill battle after that.
There's just crickets, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, it's the only time there's silence in the whole evening.
Yeah, and it's not only they don't laugh, it's now they're actively thinking, oh, this guy's weird. Yeah. So you have to combat
Who brought
that.
This guy?
Exactly. You have to combat that and prove you're funny.
I love it.
Yeah.
Next up for me, we have the classic texting the wrong person.
It's a really good one.
Yeah.
There can be so many different iterations. Take this how you want to, but you can have one of those, rather embarrassing, in Deck's case, texting the lady, and you accidentally text one of the boys like a bunch of hearts or something like that.
Dude, I've done it before because I text my girlfriend like a very specific way, and I've like sent it to my friends before, and they're like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Exactly, right? There's so many variations. Like, there's some really tough ways that this can come out.
Yeah.
But that one, texting the wrong person, happened so many times, and you just have to play it off, especially when it's like a guy's group chat.
One time, my son and I were driving down the road. When I was dating Karen, and she sent me a text while I was driving down the road, wildly inappropriate. I didn't know that, and I hit play.
Dude,
there it is. I'm like, ah!
Dude, one time I texted my dad something that was not meant for him. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And I rushed home to try and get his phone and delete the text. And when I came into the door, he was like,
"Hi there."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I was just mortified. He actually handled it like such a champ, but I was so embarrassed. And that's a good dad. Like I couldn't. That was the most zoned out I've ever been on a drive. I could have ran 5 red lights and I wouldn't have even known because I was just so focused on getting home.
Well, your dad's a man too.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. And my number one, kind of with a bullet, surprisingly. Donovan already mentioned it. I think it is the worst. Waving to someone who's not waving at you. No. It makes me want to crawl in a hole and stay there, like Fantastic Mr. Fox. I can't do it.
What about you? What's your number one?
I'm surprised you didn't mention this one because I think this one's a classic. The old push versus pull door.
That's a good one.
That one, whether it can be either way, vice versa. But for me, particularly pushing a pull, I think that's the bigger one for me personally. Yep. I do it so much. No. You have no idea how many times I've done this in public. And then you just see people kind of chuckling to themselves out of the corner of your eye and you go, whoops.
Yeah, because this is the one, it's also like, I'm never going to see these strangers again. And they all think I'm dumb. Exactly. Like they're all going to think I'm an idiot for the rest of their lives.
Can I tell you one of my embarrassing moments?
Let's do it. Let's hear it.
Okay. So it's like 1985. I'm in Regina, and I work for a radio station that is running the Miss Saskatchewan Rough Rider contest. But at halftime, game is Calgary Stampeders and Saskatchewan Rough Riders at Taylor Field. And I have a script. And Willie Cole from the opposite station, very nice man, he hands me the microphone, and now I'm walking out to midfield at halftime, and I had been in radio for, 5-6 years. I was sort of prepared for anything, but I wasn't prepared for the delay. There's a delay when you're dealing in PA announcing, and I had a 5-minute script, and I ripped through it in 2.5 because I was going so quickly. I know I didn't pronounce more than 5 words correctly. 5 words correctly, and I remember being so embarrassed. I go back and my father-in-law, God love him, I sit down and I was really embarrassed. I was really embarrassed. And I sit down and he says to me, I'll never forget it. He said, there seemed to be, your mic was cutting out. I couldn't hear you very well. And to this day, I'm so thankful that that's what he thought, or at least that's what he said, because that was, there's a lot. Taylor Field held a lot of people, and they didn't, they were fully aware of it. And what saved me was, because I had to go back to the radio station on the Monday. There was a Sunday game. I had to go back to the radio station on Monday and endure the laughter of my teammates at the radio station, except that the cousin of one of the people who worked at the radio station at the same game in the second half went streaking across the field, and that was the story everybody talked about the next day. So I got saved by that. But of the embarrassing moments I've had in my life, if you asked me to pick one where I was just mortified, that would be it. Have you ever had anything like that happen, Declan? In front of a large group of people where you're just, you think you're prepared and yet you're not, and then you do not do well in the moment.
Nothing that comes to mind. Like, I'm sure there must be something, maybe not to that level, but that has happened. But nothing that came to mind. So maybe I'm in the clear.
There you go. Don't let that happen. I don't know what you do. I don't know what kind of advice. Maybe earplugs. That would have helped if I thought of that. But wild times. Well done, guys. That was I like that because
it was a fun one.
We're in the middle of a period of time where there's not a lot happening in sport. We do have the Elks to talk about, and we will. But it's just a really nice period of time to do that sort of thing. And I'm just happy Declan did it because he's the one who gets a little bit huffy when we go off on a tangent too much. And I don't think we did this time, did we?
No, we didn't. There's a couple ones that are getting texted in, though, that we definitely should dive in either right this second or after we get to break. This one coming in from Derek, not being able to pee in the men's bathroom while other people are looking, like in the bathroom with you.
Okay.
Where it's just, for whatever reason,
shy to do that,
stage fright or whatever,
right?
And nothing comes out. You're standing there and everybody's like,
you can't concentrate.
Yeah. Then you kind of get nervous and I guess get stage fright or whatever.
There's a guy waiting for you and you're taking longer than anybody. Yeah, I get that.
There is a lot of them, whether that's ranging from like the push pull door thing, whether that's G-Bag here with accidentally texted his girlfriend saying, "Go to bed, love you, can't wait to see you tomorrow," and then his coworker was accidentally the recipient of that and getting the old chirps at work the next morning. There are so many. Calling your teacher mom coming in from
that
Mason
actually is a fairly popular one, I believe. Yeah.
There is a lot of them flying in here. So text us your most embarrassing little moments that get you all riled up here. There's a lot of them flying in. So we'll maybe get to some more of them later on in the show.
Yeah. I think that's a really good idea. Because we can agree content this time of year is sometimes challenging, but based on the response that we've got, I think young Declan hit a home run with this one. Well done, sir. All right. On the way. What's so funny?
This one just hit the wire. James, most embarrassing. I asked my daughter's grade 6 teacher if she was in my daughter's class if we rode up the chairlift on a school ski day.
Nice. There you go. Oh, well. All right. Steve Lansky on the way. We're going to talk about Hockey Night in Canada. Not called that now, but what will it look like in the fall? One of the things we do know, Kelly Rudy won't be there. We'll talk about that and more straight ahead. Lowdown with Lowetide brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's time for an update with Declan Krueger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by elksnation.ca for the best green and gold coverage online with articles, podcasts, and more. Visit elksnation.ca. News around the NHL world. The LA Kings are set to retire Anze Kopitar's jersey and unveil a statue on February 24th ahead of the game against the Montreal Canadiens, while former Edmonton Oiler Noah Philp has retired from hockey. CFL News is Nathan Rourke will return as the Lions host the Ticats this week in CFL action. The game tonight will see the 0-7 Red Blacks in Saskatchewan to take on the Rough Riders. The line for that one currently -7 for Saskatchewan, and kickoff will be at 7 p.m. Edmonton Elks in action tomorrow at 1 as they take on the 7-1 Alouettes. MLB scores from around the league. The games will get going at 4:40 with the Mets and Pirates, as well as the Jays and Phillies. Soriano on the bump in that one. Reds and Nats at 4:45 in the late game tonight in the MLB. We'll see the Tigers and Giants at 8:15. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CHJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
They're going all out to earn your business at Wolf GMC Buick. Right now, they're seriously overstocked on over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. See for yourself. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. And it gets even better. Employee pricing continues with huge cash discounts, 0% purchase financing, and low lease rates on select vehicles. Once again, see their website for details or stop in today. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Alberta, this one's for you. Around here, trust takes a few winters. It's why players have known Jackpot City since 1998. Home to hundreds of exciting casino games, live dealer action, and new adventures waiting to be discovered. Jackpot City, nothing beats the original. Please play responsibly, 18 years or older, Alberta only.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. wolfgmcbuick.com.
This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. They're overstocked and making room with a massive summer clearance. Plus, employee pricing continues. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. It's a lovely Friday. Jason Krueger coming up at 2 o'clock today. And it's a big weekend for the Edmonton Elks and the CFL West and Montreal. So this is the big three, continue to mash the rest of the league. And we'll have the conversation about who's number one on Monday. But right now, it looks neck and neck. It is time for our headliner of the day, Steve Lansky, brought to you by Faber. Cash Flow Crunch, got your business on the sidelines? Schedule your free consultation with Faber's licensed insolvency trustees and get back in the game. Visit faber.ca, Faber.ca. Joined now by Steve Lansky from Inside the Truck podcast. Steve, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. Your partner in crime tweeted out something. I don't know if you saw it or not this morning, but
I read some of that stuff, but there's just piles and piles and piles of it. I can't sort through it all.
Well, we love Paul Hemming on the show. He's invited back anytime. He's with you on Inside the Truck, and he said he had a front row seat for Dave Hodge in 1987 with the pencil throw.
Yes, he did.
And so, and he called it, I want to get it right here, one of the most iconic moments in Canadian sports TV history. And I actually don't think that's using hyperbole. It was.
Yeah, I would agree with that for all the wrong reasons. But yeah, I guess now that I think about it, I would agree with that.
But Hodge was right, and the network was wrong.
See, there's a lot of things you don't know about that. It would help if you've seen it, because I know you've seen it, but yeah. If a listener has seen it, this is going to help. But David knew long before he went on the air that they were not going to go to that game. He knew 2 minutes before when producer Doug Sellers said, "We're not going to that game." And Dave argued, and Paul was sitting in the back and heard the whole thing. And Dave said, "Why can't we go?" And Doug said, "Look, Dave, this is the decision that's been made. We're not going to that game." So then Dave comes back on the air, and Dave says, "Can we go? Are we going there?"
Oh,
Oh yeah. And Doug said, "I've been told he's hanging me out to dry. Dave's hanging me out to dry right now." And sure enough, that's what Dave was doing. Dave knew long before he went on the air exactly what was going to happen, but he played it like he didn't. And now you know.
wow. So that is interesting. That's some inside info, buddy. Did any on air talent like rip you that bad?
Uh, what, like hang me out to dry that way?
Yeah, yeah.
No, never. And you know what? I think Dave would have done it to Doug Sellers because he was a junior guy. He never would have done it to Doug Beforth, who was the senior guy. Doug probably would have presented it differently than Doug Sellers did, but Dougie didn't have a choice. I mean, they're standing behind Dougie because that game's in Toronto. They're
Yeah.
standing behind Doug Sellers, telling him what to do. He is just the messenger. But Dave made it look like they were making this decision, at the spur of the moment. Like, this producer is telling me what to do right now. Are we? Can we go there? Are we able to go there, dude? You know damn well you're not going there.
I was frustrated. I mean, it was like, come on, like there's something happening that I want to see, and you have it,
So it happened. It happened earlier in the day. I don't remember the details. Paul Hemming would remember the details. Was it curling?
Yeah, I think. Let me get it. You keep talking.
Okay. It happened earlier in the day with, let's say, curling, and there was a discussion, and Bob Cole, who was a nationally ranked curler in Canada, and Dave. Once you got Bob Cole and Dave together, it was like pouring acid and water together, and the thing's jumping all over the place. So they were already upset. This had already happened today. So part of me thinks, why are you surprised, Dave? Why are you pretending you're surprised? You know this. And that's why at the end he said how decisions are made at this network today, or whatever he said when he flipped it 10. That It wasn't the first time.
Yeah, it was CBC. This is Paul Hemming. CBC had bailed out of Brier coverage for national news earlier in the day and then doubled down with Philadelphia, Montreal.
Right. So that would have been the Brier coverage at 6:00 because they wanted to get to the 6:00 news.
Right.
And then this would have been later for the national at whatever time. And, you and I have talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've written about it in the book. Like, you do not dick around with the national. Like, you do that at your own peril. And, the problem is, if they'd have been in Calgary, they might have been able to get away with it. But they're in Toronto. They're all standing there. Don McPherson, Bob Cornell, Don Wallace, they're all standing there telling Doug Sellers what to do. Well, Dougie doesn't have a choice. Dougie's got to do what he's told.
Well, it's lucky Knowlton Nash didn't come out and beat him to death with his glasses.
You know what, though? He'd have had to walk from 415 Jarvis all the way down to Maple Leaf Gardens. That probably would have killed Knowlton. So we can't have that. Knowlton Nash died today on Mutual Street trying to get to the arena.
That's a hell of a headline. So let's talk about Kelly Rudy. He has announced that he's known since June, but after a 12-year run on Hockey Night, he's no longer going to be part of the group. And I have two questions for you. You can extrapolate anywhere you want to go, but why just Kelly? It looks like he's the only one. Maybe that's not the case. And then secondly, why wouldn't the network get out in front of this and say, we have the new improved blah, 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 and sort of make it, they could be the first one to announce it, because this looks like, Kelly's on an island and he's the guy they got rid of.
So you said 12 years. Was it 12 or was it 28?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just in my brain. I thought it was 12.
I thought I read 28, but you could be right.
Well, 28 maybe with the network and 12 with the sitting in the chair. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe doing local Flames games. You're right. So yes, it's funny. I thought about that. I thought, why wouldn't you get out in front of that? But what you would do if you were doing it properly is you would say, here's the new configuration. And you would list, I think, wouldn't you? Like that's what I would do. I wouldn't single out Kelly Rudy. I'd say, hey, we've listened to the fans, with part of one ear, but we understand that we're going to make some change. And this is the panel you're going to have for this season. Thanks
Yeah.
for everything, Kelly. Thanks for everything, whoever's leaving. And this is what you're going to have to look forward to in 2026, 2027. I would have done that. However, the fact that it's Sportsnet, it's like opposite day. So what should you do? Okay, what's the opposite of that? Okay, that's what they'll do.
And it's like, I understand in media we all have a shelf life. I'm trying to buck that trend, but we all do. And so, like, I love Ferraro. I love him as a color guy. But I'm sure there are people out there like, okay, Ferraro again. And that does happen as time goes on. I love Anson Carter. I mean, I think he's just fantastic, and I don't think he's overexposed in Canada. So my point, like, is what I'd like to see is and I know you have to have a host, and I know there's not like many of them in a country the size of Canada. We've got Duthie, Amber does a great job, but I'd like to see fresh faces if I could. Amber is a fresh enough face; I'd be fine with that. But what I'd like is, I would like I think Elliott should stay, but be in the second period and give us an update on what the news and rumors are around the league, and have him not mention anything that's been previously mentioned, just break news in the second period of the Saturday game every week. For me, that's man, that was appointment viewing. There's nothing in between the periods now that's appointment viewing for me.
No, there's absolutely nothing. In fact, I can't even believe I'm going to say this. I got to the point in the playoffs where I did not watch the intermissions. I set a 17-minute timer, and I went away and watched something else or did something else and then came back. That, I can tell you, is the most pathetic thing in the world, because I would watch every pregame ever and every intermission ever, and I've stopped doing it.
No.
I think the problem is they feel very beholden to these guys, putting them on the desk and thinking, wow, this is great. You guys are so funny. We love your jokes. Everything, I'm going to hurt my arm slapping you on the back, instead of sitting back as a critical producer would do. The guys in the 80s, John Shannon, Doug Beforth, those guys, I like to count myself among that group at a small amount. Ralph Mellenby for sure. This is what's working. This is what's not. We're going to change it. I don't think they have the acumen to do that now, my friend. You're absolutely right about Elliott. That is his strength. His strength is not sitting beside Kevin Bieksa and telling us what breakout should be used or how to get across the line of defenders at the blue line. That should not be happening. That would not happen. Oh my God, that would not happen in any other sport. Look at NFL on Fox. Oh my God, every single guy, Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, Jimmy Johnson, Michael Strahan, they all belong on that panel. They would never, Jay is not on that panel for a reason, because he doesn't belong on that panel.
Well, for me, the best hockey night in Canada was when somebody in the booth, either the color person like Scotty Bowman or Howie between periods, and others, like, the great insight doesn't just exist in the 70s. The people are really smart now, but somebody fresh and new and giving me a view of the game. What don't I know? Like, what don't I know? I know what I know. Give me something that I can think about and watch for in the next period. And honestly, that was Howie. Now, Howie had free reign because he was the first guy to do it. But Scotty Bowman, like, I don't think people realize that when the Habs were out of it, the years that they were, and it wasn't often, he would do color on Hockey Night in Canada. And at the first whistle, he'd say, they'd say, what do you think, Scotty? He'd say, well, they're going to have to move this guy off the line. He's just not skating. And I can't believe they haven't figured that out yet. And this and this. And he was talking like a coach in the National Hockey League, like it was his team. And I was excited by it. I'm whatever age I am, 20. But that's what I want. I want the juices to flow and the excitement to happen because of what they're saying. And I think that we've gotten so far away from that I just want to be fresh. I would like fresh if I could.
So you said something in there that went right into my head, and you said, "What don't I know?" That's what an announcer should for the viewer. What doesn't the viewer know? But what they're asking now is, what do I know? Those are two completely different things. I don't care what you know. I want you to tell me what I need to know or what I should know. Those are vast different things that I bet you a bunch of those guys on that panel right now would say, no, no, we do that. No, no, you don't do that. I'm more concerned with what you know and showing me what you know. And guess what? That's a friggin' F of epic proportion because you're not thinking of the viewer first, you're thinking of you first. And back in the day, we thought of the viewer first. And it's so simple. It's such a simple concept, right?
Right. And it's easier to do now. But Scotty Bowman didn't have natural stat trick where he could go and see, this line is, 0 shots for and 5 shots against it after 3 shifts. He just did it because that's what he was watching and that's how his brain worked. I want the guy whose brain works that way.
If you can look that up now, great. But I don't want to hear the stat for 30 seconds. Give me the stat for 5 and then tell me why the hell that's the stat, which Scotty could do in one step. He skipped the middle step because he was just a savant when it comes to I've never met anybody else who talked the game like him. I've never met anybody who understood the game like him. I never met Toe Blake. I know Glenn Sather really well. Glenn Sather couldn't hold a candle to Scotty in his understanding of the game. Glenn knew people. Scotty didn't know people so well. But it didn't matter. He knew the game. Skip that step. Just tell me that whole thing. But, there's only one Scotty Bowman. And let me tell you something right now. None of these kids, as they said in the Kennedy debates or whatever it was, none of these guys is Scotty Bowman.
Yeah. I just from whatever year it was to this day, I just was slack-jawed that he was able to pull that out after what was, maybe 2.5 minutes of hockey. And that's just how he was wired. And I've read his books and I've read quotes from him and he, he almost was a guy who would, it didn't matter if it was his guy or another team's guy. He would just say it out loud. I remember one time Mike Babcock, about Connor McDavid, the year that McDavid was a rookie. And Babcock said, well, Todd McClellan, his problem is he's playing him too much, but he'll figure that out, and that's what I want from television commentators is not what isn't going to get you in trouble with the team. I want to know what, do you think that it was a good idea for Connor McDavid to become the captain? Do you think Connor McDavid as a rookie should have been playing that much? Those are things because I want insight, like I have eyes and I watch the game, but I'm never going to be a scout and I'm sure as hell never going to be a coach and is not 17 planets I could be Scotty Bowman, but that's what I want to hear.
Dude, in order to give that insight, you have to what? Have that insight. They're not going to give it. They don't even have it. All they know is what's written on the piece of paper and what they talk around with each other in the group. I'm with you. I want to hear they're playing him too much. I want to hear whether or not he should be captain. But they're never going to do that because, oh boy, they might piss off somebody in one of the organizations. That would be horrible, wouldn't it? If Stan Bowman was mad at me, that would be awful. I can't continue in my life. Hockey Night might get a phone call, and then I'd be on shaky ground. Whereas if I just pump everyone's tires, we're not discerning about whose tires we pump. It could be the 6D, it could be the top forward. It doesn't matter. We're going to pump everyone's tires now, and they're this far from just being shills for the National Hockey League. And that's not the way it was back in the day, because a lot of times our hockey, especially Ralph Bellenby, Ralph would say, blank you, we're doing what we want. We're Hockey Night in Canada. Now, that is so not the case.
Well, but I just watched the World Cup, and those announcers carved teams who weren't doing well, and they called out stupid plays, and they do it. I watch the Premier League, the EPL, the English Premier League, and they do it too. Like, why is hockey so complimentary and handshaky?
It's not only hockey. I think all the leagues, because basically the broadcasters, the rights holders, are in bed with the leagues. But hockey has become that because when there's pushback, I don't know how to say this. Hockey executives, maybe all of them didn't go to college. That's a nice way to put it. So they're maybe not the brightest bulbs. So when something happens, oh, we don't like that, we're going to push back instead of saying, okay, I think it's reasonable that they're doing that. They're giving our viewers something to watch. That would require next level comprehension. That's a good way to say it. There may not be next level comprehension in hockey as there may be in some other sports. But don't forget, in a World Cup, you can say whatever you want because you don't have to go and work with those guys again next week. Those teams are disbanded. They're gone. That guy's off playing in Spain. He's never going to see me again. But you're right. That's what broadcasting was. Right up until we started spending 12 million or 87 billion or whatever the hell it was for NHL rights for 12 years. Now we're in bed with these guys. Now we got to partner with these guys.
Well, it's product as opposed to entertainment, and I want to know. I know there's a bunch I don't know. But I would like to find that out. If it's possible, that would be nice.
Seems like it's not possible right now. That's what I'm seeing right now, because even Kevin Bieksa has been sterilized, not the bad sterilized, sanitized, because he won't say what he used to say, because what'll happen is they'll go to break and somebody will say, oh, you shouldn't have said that. Oh, you shouldn't have said that. That's going to get you in trouble. Well, you only have to hear that a few times, and then you start to conform and, drink the Kool-Aid, and that's the end of that.
So I've chosen Friedman for the second period. You like Bieksa. What else is Amber okay as host, or would you go a different route?
Amber's fine. Amber's got to do one thing: shut up his mouth and just ask questions or point people in the right direction. I don't care what David Amber's opinion is on anything. Watch Kurt Menefee on Fox. Kurt, you have no idea what Kurt Menefee's opinion is on anything. He's got 4 guys beside him to give that opinion. I have no interest in David Amber's opinion. That's why he's got the guys beside him. That's what a host's job is. Hosts don't give opinions, not on television, panels, sports panels. Hosts simply direct traffic. I'm okay with him. Again, I'm not sure we're splitting any atoms in that chair with him, but that's fine as long as you can direct the traffic. The rest has got to come from the guys around him.
Final question. How many Christmas cards do you get from people in media?
Oh, zero. I do. It's funny you'd say that, though. I was going through a book the other day and I found one from Scotty Bowman.
Oh, nice.
And it was lovely. And it's tucked away in my little, no Christmas cards. And after the book comes out, I'm positive there won't be any Christmas cards.
You have to come to Edmonton and do some readings, because people will want to hear you read from the Glenn Sather. I was next door and he told me this story.
Oh my God! I'm writing this stuff and I'm thinking, why is this coming out like this? Oh nice. Yes, I know why it's coming out like this, because it's the truth.
All right, Lansky, you rock. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, man. You too.
There you go, Steve Lansky on fire today. You get him going, man, about the TV and the old times and what happened and what's wrong now. Baby, that was the good stuff. Okay, on the way, your comments about that and more. We'll talk about the Elks. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit Play Alberta.
So that helped the Braves win all those games. Deep to right here. Did it get out of here? It did. It's another one for Acuna. This one he did all by himself. So that helped the Braves win all the on the way.
Up the middle, base hit. Here he comes. Sogard rounding to throw home. And the Sox win again. What a wild ride on a roller coaster tonight. And that's 8 in a row and another sweep. 5 times the Red Sox come from behind to tie, and now they win it in 13.
On the way.
Drive center field, caught by Ernie Clements. Drive center field, caught.
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. They're overstocked, making room for massive summer clearance. Plus, employee pricing continues. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com right now. 126 now, Triple C in a truck. Steve is the blank. Love it. Well, we love that you listen, Triple C in a truck. Is it not sad that ESPN and TNT have better intermission segments than Sportsnet CBC? It's not right, but it's true, sadly. Opinionated stars that speak their mind. Crazy concept. That's from Entourage from Calgary. Well, I think in fairness, in Canada, we watch it a lot, so we're overly familiar, right, with the individuals. But I do think that you know, with respect, I think more insight into the game. Like, I'm going to just pull a name out of nowhere, but I think Luke Gazdick does a really good job. Luke Gazdick talks about the game, talks about what he's seeing, and he's insightful. Now, you know, I'm not saying he's as a Scotty Bowman, but I'm saying that I learn from him. You know, I learn from him, and it's, you know, some of it's anecdotal, but some of it is like, okay, here's what he was trying to do, and it's tough because he wasn't getting support, so it looks like his fault, but what he needed was this, you know. And like, hockey's a pretty simple game, and you know, I don't know the stuff that I want to know, and that's why it's important that I get it however I get it, you know. Like, and I think that Saturday night for somebody like me has always been a special time, and that's what I would look forward to. And not to be every day. I will say that I think that if I'm going to be, talking about Sportsnet's business, which I'm sure they love, I would like to have a designated pre-game show for every broadcast of the Oilers, and to have a Edmonton Oilers broadcast team, not just borrowing from Vancouver. The Edmonton Oilers are a marquee team. They're a major market. If you look at the kind of value that this team has and the level of fandom, then I think it's fair to say, you should have a pregame show, even in preseason. Spec could be on. Spec knows stuff. Spec can say, hey, like, this guy's hurt. What I've heard is this, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. People aren't asking for, to split the atom here, but information is valuable. People they're curious about their team. And I think that every time, I love the Vancouver people. I do. I love their broadcast. I think they're all brilliant folks. But I think Edmonton Oilers fans deserve to have their own brilliant folks. And they have them. Gene is a delight. Spec does a great job. Bob is excellent. I don't have to say Bob is, but he is. Get it there, man. Like I know budgets and all of that. I'm just saying. Montana to Rice with some Donovan type language there.
Triple C is an idiot.
Like I wondered where that came from.
Well, that's come from his entire.
Oh, I think it was about Lansky.
Texting history. Oh wait, there's Lansky stuff in here.
Well, Triple C in a truck said Lansky was appointment listening, and he was.
Oh well, yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you're right. I mixed the contextual.
Right.
I missed the contextual.
Well, you've been watching
stuff.
Baseball all
However, Triple C and MTR, that is a classic rivalry on this text line. Very similar to myself and Team Dean. However, Team Dean has not chimed in today about myself. He's chimed in about other.
Well, I think he's ignoring you to make you feel less special.
Yes.
Maybe
he is. We'll never know.
The Burglar says, thinking people require college for next level comprehension is a terrible take. Couldn't be more wrong. Some would go so far as to say the book knowledge has led them to softness, less genuine than the Burglar. Well,
yeah, that's a guy who didn't get into the school he wanted.
Look, I think I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get into this, but I always think that, you kids out there, given the choice between an education and no education, you go get that concerned education, would you please? I'm not,
Triple C claps back. MTR is just mad. Probably five of his players went down in training camp today.
Oh, wow.
As a Niners fan, that substation, it kills.
It's so crazy that two of our listeners who presumably have never met each other can have a legitimate rivalry. But it's happened.
Well, but don't you think that the intensity of sports brings everybody together? Like, you could be, right now, you could be listening to classical music, playing chess, adding online a new stamp to your stamp collection. But in Edmonton, you'd be an outlier. In Edmonton, it's like, how are they going to break up the game started for all the goalies? You got 3 of them. How's that going to work? Like, that's what Edmonton is. It's always been like that. Always. I'm going to take you back right now, 22 years ago. I get out of my car and I'm going in to buy 4 steaks from the butcher that I know. Good guy. And the great steaks. So I walk in and I'm just walking in. I'm a guy, right? I'm just a guy buying steaks. Just a man out there buying steaks. I walk in and the guy buying in front of me, he says, yeah, listen, I was talking to a guy who did some roofing for Kate's, and Mike Babcock's going to be here next summer as the coach. And I'm like, wow. And that rumor never came to be, although I guess technically it did 22 years later. But that's Edmonton. I think that if you don't live in Edmonton, you might not know that. There are stories and some may be true, some may not. Some may have a hint of truth to them. And then they've been, expanded into this, unbelievable and impossible, point that somebody's making. And that's Edmonton. So I mean, I love it in this city. I do. But if people think it's a small hockey market, you got another thing coming, because it's an obsession here. And I think you could say, okay, how many males are in Edmonton? And then you could say probably 70% of them are at least somewhat familiar with the Edmonton Oilers. And it could be higher than that. Ed says, Louis DeBrusque is great for giving us something we don't know. Greg Simpson should retire. All due respect. I don't know. The individual color commentators, I'd have to sit down and observe. I love Ray Ferraro. I mean, Ray Ferraro is really good. Mike Johnson is really good. I like Anson Carter on Between Periods. What are some of the names that you guys like?
Basically, everyone employed by TSN. I think the difference in broadcast quality between TSN and Sportsnet is shameful. Cheryl Pounder is excellent. She is easily, in my opinion, the best female hockey commentary person.
And she's interactive too. Like I've sent her text and she's sent them back.
Cheryl Pounder to me is excellent. If you want to go on the host side, no one will ever beat James Duthie. I don't care.
Oh no, he's fantastic.
If you mentioned Mike Johnston, I like Mike Johnston. You have Gord Miller on the TSN side. You have, if you want to look at more individual market type people, I think Frank Corrado is good on the TSN side. I just look at Sportsnet and I'm like, I like David Amber. I like Kevin Bieksa. Everybody else, I like Elliott, but he should be in a lesser role in my opinion on the TV
rumor
side.
Role after the second period. That's what they used to do.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So for me, everybody else from the Sportsnet cast can just go, have a nice media career. Just, I don't want you on Sportsnet.
What would you like to see? What new either individuals or type of person would you like to see on the broadcast? Would you like a former coach who is opinionated? Would you like somebody who's just funny? What?
I think a coach is always a good idea, but you have to have the right personality of a coach. I think Bruce Boudreau gives you a good element because he's got that great personality. He's been there and done that. He's not obviously a winner, but he's been a quality coach for a long time. I think it's important to have strong personalities in media. I'm a firm believer in that, but I'm also a firm believer in that you need people who aren't afraid to voice their opinions. And I feel like the Sportsnet panel, that's what has kind of led to me not valuing that panel.
Yeah, I think you have to be critical.
Yes.
Like, I'm not saying call people out, like that guy looks terrible with that mustache. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying, Lyle Tingenbaum made a mistake. Here's what happened. This is what he should have done. And you could even find another play where he did it right and then show what he should have done. I just want to be smarter at the end of the broadcast than I was at the beginning.
I couldn't agree more. And for me, the only guy on Sportsnet who criticizes is Kevin Bieksa. I think Kevin Bieksa can give you some quality learning moments. But for me, I look at the rest of them and I'm like, for someone like Jennifer Botterill, you're a former player. Can you go in depth a little bit more? Can you give us...
That might be the network, though, as opposed to Botterill.
It might be the network, but I also just don't think she's very good. And that this is her and Cheryl Pounder, the gap between those two is night and day.
Pounder is excellent. I will say I really appreciate her work. And what I like about her is that she can carry a complete thought that is somewhat complicated, make it simple, and do it in a soundbite. Like, do it in 30 seconds. Hard to do.
Oh, it's so hard to do. If I was Sportsnet, I would just try and poach a couple people from TSN because you're the one who has the rights. You're the one who more people are probably going to want to work for being honest. You just got to find the right people. I don't think it's really that hard.
Did they make a mistake not going after McKenzie and all those guys at the beginning of the rights change?
Probably. Like
Gord Miller,
you should have grabbed Gord Miller. I like Oh God, I'm forgetting his name. Craig Simpson's counterpoint. Oh God, Chris Cuthbert.
Oh, God, Cuthbert.
I love Chris Cuthbert.
Yeah,
but outside of that, and like obviously I like Jack and I like Louis on the local side, but like nationally, I just feel like there's so much lacking from Sportsnet.
Well,
It's just not a good broadcast.
I think this is an opportunity. You know, Rudy's gone. That's not Hockey Night in Canada anymore. This would be an opportunity for them to impress everybody.
Who would you hire? Do you have a name in mind? Because
no, I mean, I don't know who the smartest coach who'll talk out there is. Like, and I know that I go back to Scotty and he was like a really great coach, but damn, he like, you know what it's like? It's like Romo's not the best. Olsen is the best now. Who's the best guy?
Yeah, it's Greg Olsen. Yeah.
Okay. So Olsen, he doesn't, you know, prepare for something and then say, I'm going to say this and this and this. And if he does, he makes it seem natural, but he watches the game and then he tells you what he's seeing. And what he's seeing is more sophisticated than what you're seeing.
Of course.
And that's what I want.
I'd agree.
I want that. I want Declan's confidence with the real information.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, Declan, as we know, is almost always wrong.
I have the right information, by the way.
and the lack of bias that we know that Declan has.
That part's actually true.
Except when it comes to the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's like the most one. I'm the object. I had
Lamar
Jackson
just
as
like
the best
Travis.
quarterback
You are
in the CFL.
so not
Although
objective
you
when it comes to
made
the
a good
Bills.
point. I forget what it was, but I know it was a good point. It was something about like you've gone so far the other direction and trying to be objective.
Yes,
that you're not objective in the worst way, or like
about
something
the
like
Buffalo
that.
Bills,
Yeah,
just
about
like
the Bills.
Travis Yost.
But I also think Super Bowl favorite.
I look at that team, and I know a lot of people poo-pooed all over the DJ Moore.
I know I'm not
stuff.
nearly as down on the rest of the roster as other people seem to be.
The DJ Moore acquisition, as much as you probably could have got him for cheaper, like I still think there's something there, and that's the closest thing you've had to a legit guy who you can trust with the ball in his hands or to catch the ball.
Yeah, since
Steph Diggs.
Yeah,
and you need that player.
Montana to Rice says Torts. Well, Torts, I agree, or like Ken Hitchcock, but a younger version of that. Like I want somebody who's like just coached and is 42. That's why somebody who's like absolutely obsessed with the game and can impart information that I don't know in real time. And it has happened in my lifetime. It's just not happening often now. You know, not every show can have a Declan Krueger. We know that, but I'd like it for the Saturday night hockey games. Okay. On the way, we're going to talk about the Elks. We're talking about the BC Lions too and Saskatchewan Roughriders. I'm interested in knowing, maybe not the standings per se, but what's his feel about the Western Division in the CFL? Who does he like at first, at the end of the year? Who does he like it to make it through to the Grey Cup? What's the Western Final? I think I know, but we're going to ask him about that next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. They're going all out to earn your business at Wolf GMC Buick. Right now, they're seriously overstocked on over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. See for yourself. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. And it gets even better. Employee pricing continues with huge cash discounts, 0% purchase financing, and low lease rates on select vehicles. Once again, see their website for details or stop in today. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Mr. Rooter cries like a little tiny baby child.
Hey, Mr. Rooter, you've got a package from Mrs. Rooter.
Aw, the card says, "Thank you for our unbreakable bond. You're the pro press fitting to my copper pipe."
Ooh, what's in the package, Mr. Rooter?
Let's see. It's a Plumbus 2000 spud wrench. She knew I'd never buy one for myself.
Just like tears. It's flowing or it's free with Mr. Rooter.
I love that woman.
Yeah, it's me again. And if you're sidelined with a sports injury, you already know nothing's more frustrating than being told to just rest. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we get athletes moving sooner with our zero-gravity treadmills. You can run, train, and rebuild strength with up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back, leadingedgephysio.com, because life shouldn't hurt.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it.
Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
It's dollar drink summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
I missed one payment, then another. Now I feel behind on everything. I can't keep up.
Falling behind happens to more people than you think, but there is a solution. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. Together, we can create a plan that fits your situation and helps you get caught up and back in control. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
We're from Mr. 305.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. It's the cool down segment. Jay says McTavish and Button in a combative segment. I'm a big McTavish fan. I like him on television. He's got great insight, and he does talk. He's very positive, but he has an exceptional brain for hockey. And I absolutely turn the sound up when Craig McTavish is on. And Craig Button, I really appreciate because his work on the draft over many years has proven to be exceptional. Now, I know you're going to be mad about Evan Bouchard and all of those things, but it's the job of a scout to make the call. Sometimes they're going to be wrong, but that's okay. You just want him to have a strong opinion and believe in who he believes in, and you're going to know that he's not going to get every one of them right, but he's done well. I really enjoy both of those individuals. Hire Evander Kane. He's well-spoken and will tell you exactly what's on his mind. Hoagie from Spruce Grove.
The exact reason they would never hire him.
Evander Kane's looking for work. Imagine him on the panel. But see that, and I know we're joking about it, but like I want the raw stuff. I'm not talking about, personal comments or anything like that. But, it is okay to say, that was Nathan McKinnon's mark on that play. Austin Matthews made the wrong decision. Connor McDavid kept skating, but he identified the wrong person because the defenseman had that guy. And it's okay to say that. And, especially if you're right, if you're just picking on him, that doesn't make any sense. I want to know that stuff. And you can break it down after the game. But I really appreciate learned people who pass along information, even if it means that somebody will look at them sideways in the meeting the next day. Montana to Rice, McTavish hasn't coached in longer than Torts, LOL. Where's the consistency? Well, I mean, there's probably bias, right? I like Torts. I do. I like John Tortorella. He's very entertaining. And what was the thing he did on TSN with Duthie that he hated? He just hated. It was like a multiple choice thing where he had to, and Tortorella wouldn't do it. and he balked at it and he sulked and he'd get really mad. But it was funny when he did it. Can't remember the segment, but Tortorella will tell you what he thinks, and he's very frank. So yeah, I would say Tortorella's fine. I like McTavish just because I guess because he's so Oiler focused, and that's what I think about and write about a lot. But no, that sort of player, that sort of commentator, maybe a little younger, but we'll see. The quiz, that was it from the rig. The quiz, they'd do the quiz, and Tortorella would have none of it. Like he'd balk, he'd say the most ridiculous thing to get out of it. It was. I mean, it wasn't Maggie the Monkey funny, but it was pretty funny. Bruce Cassidy did an awesome job in the U.S. at the end of last year. Tons of teaching. Cassidy's a smart guy, no doubt about that. I miss Sid Sixero, Nikki Northside. Well, I think Sixero he's gone, and I haven't followed his career as closely as some have, but I'm getting a little Dick Beddoes vibe from Sixero, and I follow a lot of Toronto media and Toronto Maple Leafs coverage. James Myrtle, I've read from before he got to the Athletic through to today. I think he's really got great opinions, and he backs it up with math and reasoning. And so I really appreciate that. I think there's really good people in Toronto. I think that it's easy to point a finger if you're in any kind of media, and I think Sixero does a little bit of that. Just my opinion. Guys, it's a crime that they get Gretzky and Messier in the United States and we get Luke Gazdic here. I like Luke Gazdic. I'm going to defend Luke Gazdic. Now, Messier is interesting. Messier has a lot of insight, and Gretzky has a tremendous amount of knowledge. And if the host can get it out of him, then I think that it works out really well. But I think Gretzky is a person who is naturally not one to be inflammatory. So he phrases it in a way where you've got to really listen to it to hear what he's saying. But he knows hockey. There's just not a doubt about that. Ron is great, says Ranger Nick. A lot of people are big time fans of Ron McLean. Jennifer Botterill, Hall of Fame, says Todd. Good afternoon, guys. I have a ton of respect for Ron McLean, but his time is very far past his best before date, from Bill. It's so hard to be, and I mean, a lot of it has become, Ron McLean versus Don Cherry, which I've never really bought into. For me, I loved Don Cherry's books. I loved his Rock'em Sock'em. Were those Rock'em Sock'em videos? Is that what they were called? I can't remember what they were called, but I watched those. A lot of them were Bruins related, so that's why I loved them. But I thought Don Cherry was wildly entertaining. He almost won a cup with the Bruins as coach. So I absolutely on side with Don Cherry. I think that everybody has their time. Yeah. I know what you're thinking. Everybody has their time, and McLean's been at it for a long, long time. And I don't know how you can do it for that long and not pick up people who are, poking holes in you. It'd be very difficult to do, I think.
There's someone in this room whose time.
What are you talking about?
What
are you talking about, sir? Are you talking about me? Am I funny to you? Like a clown?
I think the age of this side of the table might equal up to the age of that side of the table.
I don't know. How old are you?
23. 52. Connor's 22, you said? Decade.
He's got it. We've got him beat, but
yeah, you guys are
barely
a decade older than I am.
If Connor was like 14, we'd have a chance. But
well, he looks 14. I will say that.
He does look 14. I can confirm.
Speaking of, you guys excited for the new Chris Hansen movie?
I am excited for the new
Chris Hansen movie.
Should we do a ranking of all the work experience people we've had here?
Oh,
best to worst.
We should.
Buddy, I've got it. Don't you worry about it one day.
Yeah.
I've got it locked right up here. Donovan, put the camera on me for a second. It's locked right up there.
I think we all know where a couple people rank on there, but
wow,
we're not going to slag them. Oh, I'm not.
Mackenzie's staring at me like she ain't dead last. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, Mackenzie. I mean, just what can we say?
Well, she's brighter than the bunch of you.
I was gonna say. I mean, just
not disagreeing at all.
Look,
also
just a
not a
tough
high
hire.
bar.
I will tell you, just as somebody who talks to people, sometimes the elevator goes all the way up, and sometimes it doesn't.
That is very true.
Right. Jay and Victoria, I listen to the post game every night, and Donnie and Walker do a great job, better than most of the panel. Love Don Cherry.
Thanks, Jay.
I agree, and they have me on as a guest, which I appreciate. But I think they do a really good job breaking down, and I also think that Walker does a great job of not letting people away with what I will call lazy discussions about why the Oilers lost or whatever. You know, if they lose a game with that much talent, somebody screwed up. Like somebody didn't deliver the way they should have. And I think one of the things I really like about Walker is that he does that, and Don does too. But he's, he does that with everybody. I mean, honest to God, if you accidentally throw something near the trash and miss, he's all over you.
Walks is like sneaky one of my absolute favorite people to listen to.
Yeah, no, he's really good. There's a very professional broadcaster.
I say sneaky because he's kind of mean to me sometimes.
And he doesn't follow you on Twitter. I know.
He
On
doesn't
and
have
on it
Twitter,
goes.
actually.
He doesn't have a Twitter anymore.
Well, that's the
because the
smartest
people
man
in
I know.
Vancouver absolutely.
Well, the Vancouver fans are, atrocious. We know that. All right. On the way, Jason Gregor, please enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the football game tomorrow night and have a great day.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. If your next move in the Edmonton or area, call or text Sean directly at 790-265-0165. National Bank Open Women's Singles. Leyla Fernandez, the 30th ranked in the field, getting by 5th ranked Maria Andreeva in straight sets 6-1 and 6-4. CFL Week 10 action keeps going tonight with Ottawa and Saskatchewan at 7 p.m. Saskatchewan a -7 favorite in that one on the spread. MLB will get going at 4:40 with the Mets and Pirates, and the Jays and Philly. Soriano on the bump. Reds and Nats will be at 4:45. In the late game, we'll see the Tigers and Giants at 8:15. News from around the sporting world is the LA Kings set to retire Anze Kopitar's number 11 and unveil a statue on February 24th ahead of their game versus the Habs. And Osiris Torrance signing a 4-year, $78 million deal with the Buffalo Bills, while Peter Skoronski signing a 4-year, $100 to make him the highest paid guard in NFL history. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio